If you've ever wondered, is my child behind? Are we focusing on the right thing? Why does this feel confusing? This video is for you because today I'm going to show you a simple framework that helps you understand exactly where your child is in the reading process and what actually helps next. And please stay until the end because once you understand this, reading will stop feeling like guesswork and start feeling like a plan. Now, if we haven't met yet, I'm Kathy, or Dr. Reed here at Reading RX, and I've spent nearly 18 years as an elementary teacher, literacy specialist, and reading consultant. And here's what I've learned over and over again. Parents don't need more programs. They don't need more pressure. They need clarity. And that's why I created the Reading Foundations Continuum. You're looking at it on your screen now. And if you look at this and your first thought is, okay, that looks like a lot. Just breathe. You don't have to memorize this. And this isn't a checklist. It's a map. And maps help us stop guessing. Now, the first thing I want you to notice is that this is not showing reading as a straight staircase. Reading doesn't develop in neat steps. It builds, it overlaps, it supports itself over time. That's intentional because that's how real children develop. So let's start at the base. You'll see vocabulary and language comprehension in the orange layers. They sit underneath everything because children begin building language long before they read a single word. And this part matters more than most parents realize. Oral language includes conversation and storytelling and listening, understanding directions, explaining ideas, and asking and answering questions. And vocabulary isn't just knowing definitions. It's knowing what words mean, how they're used, and how they connect to other ideas. So when you talk about what happened at school, or when you explain what frustrated means, or when you ask, why do you think that happened? You are building the base of reading. And here's something important. These language skills don't stop growing once reading begins. They continue developing through middle school, high school, and into adulthood. And language is the meaning system. And without meaning, reading is just calling words. Now let's look at the blue layers stepping upward. This is the word reading system. This is how children learn to decode words, recognize patterns, and read with accuracy and speed. It begins with phonological awareness, phonemic awareness, phonics, and eventually reading fluency. Now let's slow down and define these clearly. Phonological awareness is the ability to hear and work with sounds in spoken language. No letters, no print, just sound. And we talked about this in the previous video, and if you haven't seen that one, I highly recommend watching it next. Now here's something important. You might notice that phonemic awareness is listed separately from phonological awareness. And you might think, wait, didn't you say phonemic awareness is part of phonological awareness? Yes, it is. Phonemic awareness is the most advanced form of phonological awareness. So why separate it here? Because phonemic awareness includes very specific and highly predictable skills like isolating sounds, blending individual sounds, segmenting sounds, and manipulating sounds. Now, don't worry about understanding all of that right now because I have a video coming up where I'll go into more detail and make it easy as pie. Now, all of these are the exact skills that phonics attaches to. So while phonemic awareness technically lives under the umbrella of phonological awareness, I separate it here for clarity because it is a direct bridge to phonics, and that bridge is critical. Now let's define phonics. Phonics is when letters enter the picture. Phonics teaches children that letters represent sounds. It teaches how those sounds map onto print, how to decode unfamiliar words, and how spelling patterns work. If phonological awareness is hearing sounds, phonics is connecting those sounds to letters. This is where children move from I can hear tap to I can see TAP and read it. Now, phonics gives children access to written words, but phonics only works well if sound awareness is strong underneath it. And just to be clear, children can absolutely learn letter names and letter sounds before formal phonics begins. Singing the alphabet, recognizing letters, and learning that K says K are wonderful skills. Phonics is when those letters are used to read and spell real words. Now we move into reading fluency. Fluency is often misunderstood. It's not just reading fast. Fluency means accurate reading, automatically recognizing words, appropriate pace or speed, and reading with expression. So when decoding becomes automatic, the brain has space left for meaning. And if decoding is slow and challenging, comprehension suffers. Fluency is what makes reading feel smoother. It's the shift from figuring out words to thinking about ideas. Now notice something important. Phonemic awareness doesn't disappear when phonics begins, and phonics doesn't disappear when fluency grows. The sequence stays the same, but the skills overlap and strengthen each other. That's development. Now, you may ask why I color-coded this model. Blue is the word reading system, and orange is the language and meaning system. Language grows continuously underneath, and word reading builds step by step on top. Both matter. Strong decoding without language limits comprehension, and strong language without decoding limits access to print. Reading requires both systems working together. Now here's a place to pause and listen to that again. Now I want to clear up something that confuses almost everyone at first. You'll see I use the phrase language comprehension. That's intentional. Language comprehension means understanding spoken language. Reading comprehension is different. Reading comprehension happens when two things come together: strong decoding and strong language comprehension. Children first understand stories by listening. This is language comprehension. Later, they understand stories by reading. This is reading comprehension. Same goal, different pathway. And here's the most important part. The goal of this entire continuum is skilled reading comprehension. Not just sounding out words, not just reading quickly. Reading comprehension is the outcome. It happens when strong decoding skills and strong language comprehension work together at the same time. That's the destination this model is pointing toward. So if something feels hard right now, it's usually not because your child isn't capable. It's because one layer needs strengthening. And strengthening a layer doesn't mean starting all the way over. It means adjusting where you focus. Now, children move along this continuum at different speeds. The sequence stays the same. The timeline varies. Some children will need more time with sound skills. Some may need more repetition with phonics. And some may need more oral language experiences. That's not failure, that's development. So instead of asking, why isn't this working? Ask, which layer needs support right now? That question changes everything. So if this continuum is helpful to you, stay tuned to this channel, because in upcoming videos, I'm going to break down every single stage of this chart one by one, so you'll know exactly how to support your child without being overwhelmed. And you can feel confident that you have all your reading bases covered. Now you can download this continuum for free using the link in the description. Keep it visible, use it as perspective, not as pressure, okay? And as you think about your child, which layer feels strongest right now? Which layer might need more support? Feel free to share in the comments. This is Dr. Reed with Reading RX, the prescription for your child's reading success. I'll see you in the next video.